Afternoon. This is Ira Weissman with Nonprofit Chat, and today we've got an old friend coming back, June Sernak from the American Red Cross. Welcome, June. How are you today?
Great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Tell us first who you are.
I'm June Sernak. I'm the Executive Director of the Southwestern region of the American Red Cross, servicing Burlington, Camden, and Gloucester counties.
Okay. And most people know the American Red Cross for their blood drives, but you do so much more.
We do. We actually have 5 primary missions that we're responsible for. Blood being a critical portion of it, we actually are responsible for 40% of the nation's blood supply. Just in our 3 counties alone, we do a little over 1,000 blood drives a year, which nets about 35,000 pints of blood. And just to put that into perspective, that a lot of chemo patients that require blood could require 2 pints of blood a week just during those procedures alone. Another area that we're also known for is health and safety, where we run courses. So anywhere from babysitting to life-saving skills classes, CPR, first aid, those types of things. As a matter of fact, we had our first pet CPR first aid class this weekend to celebrate Pet First Aid Month.
Okay, we're going to have to bring you back on to talk about that because I have not heard of that previously.
I now know how to resuscitate a cat and a dog if I had to do that, so hopefully I won't be called upon to use those skills anytime soon.
Do they get mouth to mouth or?
They do. They absolutely do. And depending on how small they are, you're kind of encompassing their mouth and their nose at the same time. But yeah, just a really great class.
Okay.
Another area that we're really responsive in internationally is we help not only Asia and Africa, but other countries with vaccinations for rubella and for measles. So we have tens of millions of children that we vaccinate every single year. So just a dollar contribution is giving a child the ability to have a vaccination. It's just a tremendous effort that we have.
Now, you said you're doing this for children overseas.
Mm-hmm.
How did the American Red Cross get to the point of working with the foreign countries?
They see a need in certain areas that they rely on us because we have so many facets of the American Red Cross in other countries. So there's Red Crosses in other countries as well, as long as Crescent Clubs. It's just another form of the Red Cross. So we partner with our synergistic partners around the globe, and we know that that's just a huge area for us. We send volunteers there, we send medical staff there, and we just are able to assist those families. In many cases, the mothers cannot get to the clinics where the vaccinations are, so we have volunteers that bring them and their children to a safe clinic to be able to get the vaccination, to make sure that they have that process and they're able to save those children.
Okay, that's great. And what other things does the American Red Cross do?
We are the communication arm for service to the armed forces, so we're very fortunate to have the Joint Base, McGuire, Dix, Lakehurst in our footprint. So we actually have a Red Cross house on the Fort Dix side. We are actually responsible for communicating with soldiers overseas that have any type of incident here that they need to come back for. We make sure that they contact us, we bring that soldier back, and they're able to be with their families during a time of crisis. We actually are working on things through a Joint Readiness Center that as soldiers are deployed, we provide them snacks, we provide them reconnection services, we provide them
reconnection services?
Reconnection back into society when they come back from their tours of duty, reconnecting with their families, workshops just to help them, because we have mental health workers that support us as well. We're also there for the families that are here, the parents and the children that are still here. We have a lot of programs for them also, which is just a tremendous effort for all of our volunteers to go to the base on a weekly basis and be able to support them.
All right.
And our biggest area is disaster services. So for us, a disaster isn't just something as large as Hurricane Katrina or Hurricane Sandy, but actually what happens on a day-to-day basis right here in our local communities. Anywhere from fires to local floods to pipes bursting, anything that you need to evacuate your home, they become disaster services for us, and we respond to almost 300 of those a year just in our 3 counties.
Okay, and that gives us a great lead into what we're going to be talking about today, which is how the American Red Cross works to prevent fires. You've got an event coming up this weekend.
We do. So one of the things that we try to do is to just keep the general population aware of their preparedness piece of it. So we're hosting an event called Power of the Purse. This event is really to gear women to come out to be a part of a girls' night out and to be able to purchase handbags and different craft items and things from vendors, and the money goes back to our families. Where we're going to take that money is to reinvest that in the communities and do something called a Home Fires campaign. So Saturday, we're going to take all those efforts and we're going to go into Camden. We're in the Whitman Park section of Camden, and we're actually going to install smoke detectors. We were there in February. We installed almost 400 smoke detectors along with the fire department, the mayor's office, Public Works, and also the police department, along with 50 of our volunteers, and literally went door to door. We spoke to the homeowners. We asked if we could come in, and we talked to them a little bit about their situations. We provide a 10-year lithium battery smoke detector, and then if your smoke detector is 5 years or older, we'll replace that or just give you batteries for the ones that are there. So we'll be going back into Whitman Park again on Saturday for the mayor's cleanup effort, and really hope to get another 200 detectors installed the rest of the neighborhood.
Why is it so important that you have working fire detectors?
Statistically, almost every 7 minutes someone dies in a fire in this country. It costs us over $17 billion a year in just damages done to property alone for fires. It's such a critical problem that we have nationwide that the Red Cross has taken the stance that we would like to reduce those numbers by 25% over the next 5 years. And doing a program such as the Home Fires campaign gives us that ability to go out and to help people be more educated about what they need to do to prevent the fires from the beginning.
I know there was a particularly heartbreaking case that occurred up in New York City, about a month ago?
Yes.
And they did or did not have a fire detector in the house?
There were certain locations within that they weren't sure that the smoke detectors were working for the alarms to get out. In those situations, the Red Cross is called upon to be able to set up. There were so many people in those locations that they set shelters up to be able to service all the families that are in there until they can find alternate places to stay. It was just a tremendous effort to make sure that everybody is aware that they need working smoke detectors. In so many instances, people hear the smoke detector beeping because the battery needs to be replaced, and it seems to get on their nerves, and they decide to take it out and never replace it again. And lo and behold, that's usually what some of the efforts have been, where they've dislodged it just to not hear the beep any longer. It's just critical that everybody replaces their smoke detector batteries, and they're really aware of that. And that they have an evacuation plan. That's the other part of when we go into the Home Fires campaign and the installation. We also work with the family members to do an evacuation procedure. So where are the closest exits in your home? Where are the windows? How can you evacuate? And what do you need to take with you when you are leaving? Most families don't realize that you have less than 2 minutes to evacuate your property in the incidence of a fire.
Less than 2 minutes?
Less than 2 minutes.
Okay, and when we're about ready to take a break, we'll come back, we'll talk about why so short a period and some of the things that they should be taking.
Great, thank you.
In a world where bankers have lost all interest, where robots and fat cats rule our fortunes, one woman will stand up and strive to do the impossible. Be treated like a person. Friends and neighbors will join her quest. Ordinary people will band together against the forces of corporate greed. And together they will form Philadelphia Federal Credit Union, already in a neighborhood near you.
Imagine the finest hand-selected USDA prime steak you'll ever have. The freshest line-caught seafood, our Wine Spectator award-winning wine list, and soul-satisfying desserts. Bring that together with the perfect date, the winning business deal, a memorable family celebration. Welcome to Rod's Steak and Seafood Grill in nearby Morristown, New Jersey. Bring your appetite and feed your passion.
Your credit score is yours, and at Experian Credit Expert, we want to help you really use it. With access to helpful Experian experts over the phone and online, we can help you use it to get a better idea of what info the banks have on you. Use it to get more choice of mortgages. Use it to make your money go further. Take the next step to improving your financial future with your free 30-day trial at experian.co.uk.
Here at Freppi's Tex-Mex, you can definitely taste the freshness in our food. You should definitely come to Freppi's because it's a great place. You can bring your family, very kid-friendly, All my servers are amazing, friendly people. Everyone here is just happy to serve, and I think it shows. The thing that sets us apart is the quality and freshness of our food. And I think once you try it, you'd be coming back. I'm Joe Desario, co-owner of Freppi's Tex-Mex in Plainfield, New Jersey.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
And this is Ira Weissman with Nonprofit Chat. We're back from our commercial break, and we're talking to June Sernak from the American Red Cross. And we're talking about fire safety and the issues that happen with fires in the home. When we went to commercial break, we were just starting to talk about an evacuation plan and the fact that people have less than 2 minutes to get out of the house when a fire breaks out. So why is it so short a time?
It's the way fire travels to the home, and depending on what started the fire to begin with can cause just an exacerbated situation. A lot of times people react to fires in different ways. We had a family that turned the wrong burner on their stove and thought that the best way to put the fire out was to put a blanket and a pillow on top of the stove, which clearly was not the right thing to do, and just caused an exorbitant amount of smoke as well. So if you're not moving fast enough to get out of the home, the smoke will also just be a deterrent for you and prevent you from exiting the home in a prompt fashion. So it's just really important that you have all of those types of security devices, whether you have a security system in your home that's alerted to the fire department to make sure your smoke detectors work, and to please use your carbon monoxide detectors as well. We see a lot of different cases of things that happen, and we just want everybody to be safe and be prepared. We have evacuation sheets on our website, so if you went to redcross.org and you look at our disaster services, you can actually pull down different templates of things that you can fill out for your families and do checklists of things and practice drills on how to get out of the house safely. That also includes making sure that elderly family members, children, and your pets are safe as well. We had a suggestion in our class that somebody said for your little pets to really scoop them up in a pillowcase and run out of the house. It keeps them from getting away from you and flying out of your arms when they're distressed. A lot of times pets have a hard time when they hear the screeching of the whistles during the smoke detector, and it really makes them easily agitated, and that's a good way to get them safely out of the home.
Let's come back, and it's important because I know people care about their pets. But what should people think about as part of this evacuation plan? Not just, take care of the pets, and of course if there's elderly family members, but what's the basics of an evacuation plan?
So, naturally we just want the families to get out safely. I know people would like to take a lot of their belongings with them, and that might not be possible. So they should definitely take the most important things with them. We always advise people to have their medications with them, eyeglasses, prescriptions, or even have some sort of electronic way to know what their prescription dosage is and where to get them refilled. We learned that lesson during Hurricane Sandy, that when a lot of people were evacuated to the shelters, that, naturally people came out in droves to bring clothing and little household items, but most of the people that were there had no access to their medication. You can imagine if you're a diabetic and you need insulin within 24 hours and that's something that you left behind, how would you have access to that prescription and dosage? So it's good to be able to have that nearby, that you can take all those things and run with it. We actually do a program for children in 3rd through 5th grade that came through us through Disney. It's really came out of Hurricane Katrina when the students evacuated the dorms. They put all their belongings in pillowcases and left their facilities. Well, Disney came to the Red Cross and said, we love this idea, let's call it the Pillowcase Project. And now we actually go out and speak to kids in a number of different scenarios, whether it be through the Y or whether it be through summer camps or even in the school systems. And they give them a pillowcase with the Disney characters on them and a checklist of things that they should remember: a toothbrush, a flashlight, their favorite toy, their favorite book. And they can make it their own. And this gives them not only all the skills they need for fires, but also coping skills. Whether it be just an exercise on how to remain calm during that particular time. But we have Red Cross volunteers that take classes every single month and go out into the community and teach that class. So I think that's a really great way to think about it in the most basic of terms, is to think about the Pillowcase Project. Throw your belongings in that and head out.
Okay. And in heading out, depending on the type of home you live in, you may have to take some measures or extra measures in order to get out. During the break, we were talking about, I live in a split level, so if we get a fire in my main floor, how am I going to get out?
You need to make sure that you have that pre-planned. So whether you have an emergency ladder that you can throw out of a window or out of a sliding glass door that's on a different level of your home, make sure that you have a fire extinguisher that gives you enough time to maybe open a clear pathway. Stop, drop, and roll is the standard that we learned as a kid and still applies today. You want to stay as low to the ground as possible and be able to try to get out as quickly as possible. But you might have to figure out other ways that you're going to be able to leave your house. So know what windows you have, know how to open them, know codes if you need to get out of the home, all those types of things. You really need to be prepared to be able to leave in that short time period that you have.
Okay, and you talked about codes, you talked about fire extinguishers. Should the people try and fight the fire?
No, we should definitely leave that up to the fire department. It's really key. If you have a small isolated fire and you could use a fire extinguisher that might alleviate that for the short term, that's one thing. But if it looks like something's starting to hit to a blaze to a point that it's going to spread really quickly, you need to just make sure that the fire department handles all of that and gets out safely. They're prepared for that. They have all of their equipment that they need and they're prepared to fight fires, and it's better to leave it up to the professionals in that instance.
And there's the other thing, you talked about changing out your batteries on your fire detector on a regular basis. You need to look at the dial on your fire extinguishers because they do lose pressure over time.
They do. I try to look at things on an annual basis. So around the time of your birthday is a great time to make sure that you go around your house and do all the upgrades that you need for that year, whether it be getting a new smoke detector or installing a new battery, checking carbon monoxide, checking your extinguishers, getting your checkups, any of the preventative stuff that you would do for yourself. It's a great time. You're not going to forget your birthday, I guarantee it. So at least use that time frame to go in and double check everything.
And coming back to the evacuation plan, you recommend how often should you practice that?
I think you should practice once a quarter. I think that you should make sure that things haven't changed in your home or that you haven't moved anything around that might preclude you from getting out in a safe manner. But I think it needs to be kept top of mind, because whenever you have kind of a heightened sense of awareness during a particular emergency, sometimes you forget right off the bat. What you want to make sure is that it's just as commonplace for you to do at any time. It shouldn't be something you have to sit back and think, oh my God, I think I practiced this 2 years ago. What do I do now? Make sure that you're aware of doing this. And especially if you have young kids, make sure you do it a little bit more frequently, just so they get into that habit and that routine of understanding what they should do. A lot of times kids will either hide under a bed or in a closet thinking that that's a safe place, and that might be a more difficult place for the first responders to get to you, and you want to make sure that they're safe as well.
Okay. We need to take another commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue talking about fire safety.
Great. Thank you.
For independent living for seniors age 62 and over, People Inc. offers safe, maintenance-free apartments across Western New York. The affordable rent is income-based. For more information, call People Inc. Senior Living at 817-9090.
Looking for a cooking oil with a light flavor and reduced absorption so food preserves its natural flavor? One with a high smoke point for stir-frying, sautéing, grilling, and baking? Then choose all-natural Pompeian 100% grapeseed oil, imported from France. Grapes have been a key ingredient of the healthy Mediterranean diet for years. Pompeian 100% grapeseed oil is the chef's choice for high-heat cooking, grilling, stir-frying, sautéing, or even deep frying. And Pompeian 100% grapeseed oil is great for baking too, because its delicate taste does not overwhelm the flavor of cakes, cookies, and other favorite recipes. A key traditional ingredient of the Mediterranean, grapeseed oil is a rich source of vitamin E antioxidant and naturally gluten-free. Buy imported Pompeian 100% grapeseed oil today and find great recipes at Pompeian.com.
Wait, don't let this happen to you. At Jan Fence, we're family owned and operated for over 50 years, providing a wide choice of fencing. Why wait online at the big box store? Just call Jan Fence. Ask about our Easy Fence to Go products by Active Yards, the first truly do-it-yourself fence product.
At Jan Fence, we always do what we say. Come see us today.
Step into an extraordinary world that will excite your senses. Experience our delectable Mughlai cuisine and the magic of tandoori savoir-faire. Let our international award-winning team delight you with a taste of heaven. Enjoy our mouth-watering flavors and our unique flair for excellence. Savor the elegance of fine dining and catering. Shazam Restaurant. Indulge your taste buds.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
And this is Ira Weissman. We're back with Nonprofit Chat, and today we've got June Sernak from the American Red Cross, and we've been talking about fire safety. And when we're getting ready to take our break, we were talking about practicing the escape plans, and especially youth, and letting them know. And you've got quite a large youth contingent that you're doing things with also.
We do. We have a youth group in each of our counties, and we work with the young people to try to empower them to think of better ways to not only help their families, but also help the community. So we've done things like poster contests where we have them create some sort of logo that talks about fire safety that they can use not only at home, but also in their communities and in their schools. What's a better way to do evacuation procedures? How could we create apps that would allow you to notify everybody and to be able to get people out of their homes? Some of the youth that we have, they're just absolutely amazing. They also really like to do events to create awareness also. So anywhere from 5K runs to dances. There are just so many different ideas that they've had. They would like to do like singing contests like American Idol and be able to bring awareness, to it from that type of perspective. But anything that they can possibly think of, they like to be able to share that, just to be able to make sure that people are prepared. They also volunteer for a lot of different things in the communities. So September is Preparedness Month and October is Fire Safety Month. So we actually find that the youth are actually helping out with local fire departments, they're helping out with community days, and they're really just sharing their time and efforts to be able to help out in the communities.
That's great, especially getting the young people involved.
It's phenomenal.
What's some of the common causes of fires in the home? Usually you hear around the holiday seasons, it's particularly a dangerous period, but these fire hazards exist throughout the home all year round.
What we've seen are a lot of fires that happen around Thanksgiving and Christmas are due to things around the kitchen. So it's cooking something spilled, grease fires. A lot of times around Thanksgiving, people use the oil-based containers to cook fires in that are too close to their homes, causing a fire. Then in the summer, it's gas grills, which again can be too close to the home and depending on what they're doing with their tanks. Also fireworks. We've seen a lot of fires where a firework has gone kind of haywire and landed on outdoor furniture or too close to the home. So there's a couple different hotbeds of time periods that we see that fires are really more prominent. We also see things with older homes that could be electrical, so we want to make sure that people are aware of anything that doesn't look right from an outlet perspective, that they're making sure that they're not exposing themselves to something that could ignite a fire. And then
I gotta stop you there. One of the things that I've seen over the years is where people plug the extension cord into the extension cord, and they just overload the electrical system.
That, and then also in the winter months when people are trying to heat their homes, sometimes people want to heat their homes by the fire of the stove, or they use some sort of electric heater that they forget to turn off at night and it is too close to some sort of fabric and ends up causing a fire. We do see in certain instances that people will fall asleep and leave cigarettes or cigars burning, and that also can be just treacherous for families if they fall asleep and they have those types of things in their home as well.
One of the hazards that we're hearing about more now is with batteries, where just throwing them away and there might be a charge in them. So
you need to have proper disposal, and each county on their website really will list the best places to dispose of batteries. Actually, with our Home Fires campaign on Saturday, when we do take the batteries out of smoke detectors that are no longer in use, we have a safety mechanism that the chief of the fire department has put into place to be able to safely dispose of them so we're not putting anybody in harm's way.
Okay. And then things like clothes dryers, that's another issue.
We don't recommend that you ever leave your home with any of your appliances on. And there are a lot of times with clothes dryers that if you don't check your lint filters and your traps, that could ignite. And unfortunately, a lot of people feel overconfident that if they leave their house and, oh, I can wait for my laundry to be done, I'll let that go. That's also not a very prudent way to leave your home. We try to recommend that you unplug most things. Don't put your electrical devices, your cell phones, your laptops, those types of things on your bed. Watch curling irons, and and for those of you who have teenagers and know how easy it is to run out of the house and forget that there's a flat iron or a curling wand there, you want to make sure that they're always unplugged, wrapped, and safely put away. You don't want them to still remain on the plug and still warm when you leave the home.
I know there was a big issue a few years ago about fireplaces, not only the portable ones, but the wood chip ones, but also the chimneys too.
It's really important for the maintenance of your home to be able to have your flue cleaned on an annual basis, just to make sure there's no debris. Make sure that the screens are on there as well. There has to be a certain amount of maintenance whenever you have something like a fireplace that you take responsibility for. And you also have to look at the products that you're using. So you don't want to use things that shouldn't necessarily be put in there to be burned, because that could ignite in a completely different way. Sometimes if things are wet or they have other chemicals on them, you don't know, and that could spark a fire very easily, and you might not even be aware that they're coated with something else. I think people think that they could take just a table in their house that they don't want and throw it in the fireplace and make a nice fire, but it could have a laminate on it or some other surface that would cause them to have severe problems.
Or if it's been treated in any manner,
Absolutely.
you don't know what the chemicals will do to it.
You have no idea. And you don't even know from a toxic perspective what types of fumes that's going to emit as well.
And we come back to, get out of the house as quickly as possible, stay as low as possible, and just get to safety. Get your family, get your pets. One of the issues that is out there, many people have medical oxygen in their house too nowadays, and that, if that ignites,
it's just a really upsetting scenario to think that some of the basic things that we used that we need every day could be so treacherous in our homes when it comes to fires and disasters. One of the other things I would just recommend, that if you smell something or you see something that isn't quite right, take steps to be able to look into that. If you look at an outlet that there's a spark, or you smell something that's not quite right and you think it's gas in your home, definitely call the local gas company and have them come out. It's better to be safe and evacuate and make sure that they're taking a look at everything. I know, and you probably saw on the news, some of the homes that were damaged during storms that were so wet inside that the electrical outlets had still water in them, and that actually sparked fires. There are certain things along the routes of the electrical system as well that you want to make sure that you have not your cousin that comes in and says, oh, I'm going to fix it. You have just a real electrician that's going to come in and make sure that your home's taken care of and that it's inspected properly. Because the safety of you and your family is definitely the most important to us, and we want to make sure those statistics come way down, and to make sure that everybody's safe.
And we've been talking a lot about the prevention aspect, but the Red Cross also steps in after the fire.
We do. So we have 94% of our staff are volunteers. So when the fire department responds to a fire, they push a button and they say Red Cross is needed, and our disaster volunteers are on call and go immediately out to those locations. Once they meet with the families and they assess the situation, how many people are in the home, what their needs are, we give them a hotel stay for 3 nights, and we give them a food and clothing allowance. We try to put them in places if, for example, they do have pets that are pet friendly. If not, we use some of our other partners like Red Paw and the Mount Laurel Animal Hospital to help foster the pets during that time period until the family can be reconnected with their pets. They know that they're in a safe place. We then work with them from a mental health perspective and also an insurance perspective to help them document and fill out any other paperwork that they might need. And it's ongoing. We're not going to leave any family without assistance to be able to help them out.
And that's great. We're coming down to the end of the show. So if somebody wants to either volunteer or needs your help, how do they reach out to you?
If they're in a disaster situation, the first responders will get in touch with the Red Cross. We don't self-deploy as much as I would love to be able to come and answer everything. The fire safety department would have to come and call us, and we would send our volunteers out immediately. If you'd like to assist by volunteering, come to our website at www.redcross.org/NJ/Camden. That is our local chapter website for our specific area.
And that area is?
The southwestern New Jersey, Camden, Gloucester, and Burlington counties. And that gives you all the information that you need about volunteering, some of the safety plans that we talked about for disaster services, even how to get involved with blood drives and all those types of things. All the information is directly on the website.
Great. You want to repeat your website again for everybody?
Sure. It's www.redcross.org/NJ/Camden.
Thank you so very much for coming on.
Thank you. I really appreciate you helping me keep all of the area more prepared and safe. It really is an amazing cause.
It is, and as you said, what is it, every 7 minutes somebody dies in a fire?
Absolutely.
Okay. This is Ira Weissman. If you need help with your nonprofit's strategic plan, putting policies and procedures in place, succession planning, and putting measures in place to help show your funders that you truly have accomplished what you said you're doing, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address is idea.innovations, INNOVATIONS@live.com. Thank you very much and have a great day. Goodbye.
Here, we have an attractive orange and a distinguished apple. The two similar, but opposites. In theory, a wingman is needed, or perhaps a wing lemon. A friend to the orange and an acquaintance to the apple, the lemon brings the two opposites together. See, with a little fresh thinking, the universe can be surprisingly smooth.
When we make Beyond Natural dry dog and cat foods, we start with real meat as the first ingredient. We leave out corn, wheat, and soy. And we own where our dry food is made. 100%. Can other brands say all that? For nutrition you can trust and your pet will enjoy. Does your food go beyond? Learn more at purinabeyond.com.
Fitzpatrick's. Deli dine for breakfast and lunch. And at night, gourmet dine for dinner with entrees and specialty sandwiches including certified black Angus cuts of beef and wild-caught seafood, plus catering options for specialty events. Since 1989, Fitzpatrick's, your hometown place with upscale tastes.
Apple Ridge is about freedom. Apple Ridge is about community. Apple Ridge is about home. Apple Ridge, everything you want, more than you expect. Welcome to your new neighborhood. Apple Ridge Senior Living. Enjoy a maintenance-free, affordable luxury lifestyle today. Visit appleridgeseniorliving.com and find out more about the Apple Ridge experience.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.